My name is Torrin Miller, and I am the managing partner and co-founder of Ruffed Outdoors LLC. And Ruffed Outdoors was founded on March 26, 2013. So we are quickly approaching our 1 year anniversary as a business. And it has been a crazy, educational, fun year. What we do is we create camouflage patterns. We are a camouflage pattern design and development group. And the patterns that we create are based on game bird feather patterns and colors. And so what we do is we photograph the actual pelt of the game bird that we want to create a pattern from. We take a photograph of it, and then we enhance and manipulate it digitally to create the final product. And the final product is a pattern that can be printed on clothing or hard goods or other soft goods, and it is a continuous repeating pattern. We are into foreign apparel manufacturing and camouflage licensing, and we are also beginning to dabble in hard goods and other products to fill niche markets in the hunting and fishing industries. So our focus is really on the camouflage itself as well as the camouflage apparel, but we are looking into other aspects of the market. The product itself is the pattern, and the main selling point behind the pattern is the logic. Any hunter who has spent enough time in the woods understands the ability of the ruffed grouse to essentially disappear in plain sight. And grouse all over the country have this ability. The colors and layout of their feathers provide the perfect concealment. But not only does the pattern have to be logical and effective, it also has to be visually attractive to the consumer. Camouflage is just as much about the visual appeal to the consumer and looking good while you wear the camouflage as it is about the effectiveness. And rough patterns offer both the logic and the effectiveness as well as the visual appeal for the consumer. Currently we have 4 patterns. The first pattern is Ruffed Original, and we came out with the pattern about a year ago, and this is essentially what started the whole business, was the creation of this pattern. And I am currently wearing the pattern. The pattern is based off the ruffed grouse, which is found throughout the northeastern United States as well into the north central parts of the country. The second pattern we developed was Ruffed Sharptail, which is based off the sharptail grouse. And this grouse is found throughout the western prairies and mountainous lowlands. So it's a pattern perfect for open spaces and for hunters who hunt in open spaces. The next pattern we came out with was Ruffed Ptarmigan, which is our snow camouflage. It's based off the ptarmigan, which is the smallest member of the grouse family. And in the winter and the snowy season, the ptarmigan actually changes its feather colors from brown to white. So it's an appropriately named pattern. And the most recent pattern we've developed is Ruffed Migrator, which is based upon the mallard hen duck. And so we have the feather background, but on this pattern we have added foliage, which is a first for us. But we couldn't be more pleased with the result, and that is a pattern that is completely effective in marsh, swamp, and wetlands. So it's perfect for waterfowlers. And after the development of each and every one of our patterns, the first thing that we do is copyright it. All of our patterns are protected under United States copyright law, so that it does a good job of protecting the intellectual property. As far as product goes, along with the patterns, we have also completed and started foreign small run production of camouflage apparel, camouflage caps, and Ruffed branded apparel such as sweatshirts and t-shirts. The outdoor market is actually growing greatly. It's a great time to be in the business. The market actually grew 5% annually from 2005 to 2011, according to the Outdoor Recreation Association. And according to the United States Fish and Wildlife Service, hunters spent $33.7 billion on hunting in 2011, which is the most recent data. And of that $33.7 billion, 14 was on equipment alone, and much of that is camouflaged in some sort, whether it's the apparel or the weapon or the accessories. Camouflage is, of course, predominant in the outdoor industry. So we want to tap into this growing industry and also all of this money that is spent on camouflage products within the industry. There is some significant competition in the camouflage industry. Currently, there are two giant competitors. Those are Realtree and Mossy Oak, which were both founded in the 1980s before there was any sticker leaf camouflage patterns. Then the only camouflage that hunters had really available was the army fatigues. So Realtree and Mossy Oak really started the hunter-specific camouflage industry, and they essentially own the stick and leaf camouflage pattern industry now. There are 4 or 5 other pattern companies that are nationally known, but none of these companies are stick and leaf patterns. They are abstract patterns that are both effective and visually attractive to the consumer. So we plan to enter the market with the logic and visual appeal of our patterns. Like I said earlier, the patterns are very logical to anyone who has spent enough time in the woods and have been around any sort of grouse or game bird. But they are also very visually appealing, which lends itself to casual apparel as well as hunting specific apparel. And another thing that we're trying to do is possibly break into the niche market of the bird hunters. We are hearing from a lot of people that they want to wear the camouflage of the birds that they're hunting. Bird hunters are really passionate about the birds that they are hunting. So if we can provide them a camouflage that can allow them to express that passion even more, I think it'll do really well. The customer is essentially the hunter at its origin. Camouflage, especially hunting specific camouflage, is targeted at the hunter. Um, there were 13.6 million hunters in 2011, according to the United States Fish and Wildlife Service, and we will heavily target these people specifically. But camouflage has also become a lifestyle trend. Um, Pop culture, such as the new show Duck Dynasty, has really expanded the hunting and outdoor lifestyle to the entire country. So people who maybe don't hunt at all or don't have any hunting experience are still wearing the camouflage because it's now part of a lifestyle. Um, and we have patterns for all parts of the country and all types of hunting situations, which allows us to cater to all parts of the country and all types of different hunters. The visual appeal of our patterns lend themselves to the casual and lifestyle apparel. According to the United States Fish and Wildlife Service, white adult males with 12 years of education make up the majority of hunters, although young white males aren't far behind. And these people are found all over the United States. So this will be our target audience and our target customer base. Our business model is pretty simple. Right now, we would like to license the patterns out, and then once we gain more capital, we'd like to go into production ourselves. So licensing is essentially all profit, although we will have marketing obligations to those who license. And essentially what licensing means is that we let someone use our pattern on a product that they are already producing, and then we gain a royalty from the usage of our pattern. And that royalty is generally about 5% depending on the product. We like to keep it between 5 and 10. It could be more or less depending on the product. But like I said, that's essentially all profit. And this allows us to gain multiple revenue streams in all sectors of the industry, whether it's apparel, hard goods, backpacks, weapons. It doesn't matter. We can have revenue streams coming in from literally every single sector of the industry. We do currently have one licensee, and we are currently working closely with another potential client to offer our patterns on their product. And like I said, once the capital is there, we would like to go into production for ourselves, production of camouflage apparel, caps, and lifestyle apparel. We've already produced small runs of camouflage apparel, caps, and branded apparel, as I've said earlier. The benefit to producing the product ourselves is that the profit margin is larger. The profit margin becomes about 40 or 50% after shipping and U.S. customs fee. So the profit is a lot larger, but there's a lot larger initial investment needed to produce the product. So it does pay off, but we just need the initial capital to be able to go into large scale production. Springboard would greatly allow us to expand our own brand as far as our own camouflage hunting apparel, lifestyle apparel, accessories, and all that stuff. We are currently working with two nationally recognized brands to produce custom clothing lines. Um, so basically, they have contacted us or we have contacted them, and they want us to create a whole line of camouflage apparel. Some of it is camouflage accented, and it's basically their branded apparel with our patterns, and we are responsible for the production of these patterns overseas and bringing it in the United States and getting it into their hands. And we are also working currently with one nationally recognized brand for licensing, and they are looking to put our patterns on their apparel. Licensing can be fulfilled almost instantly, and revenue is generally collected monthly. Clothing orders are a little bit different. The orders are prepaid, so the money comes in as the orders are placed, and then the turnaround times are generally 1 month, depending on the size of the order and also depending on customs and shipping. So our team consists of obviously myself, and I am the managing partner, and I am a junior in wildlife and fisheries science. Also in our group is Nate Altirio. He is a recent Penn State transfer, and he is currently undecided in his major. Another partner is Brad Grebe. He's a junior at Lock Haven University, and he is majoring in criminal justice. And the fourth and final member of our team is Jonas Holderman, and he is a graduate from Pennsylvania College of Technology, and he has a forestry degree. We are all avid hunters and outdoorsmen, and we all understand the market. And we have known each other since we were 5 and 6 years old. So before anything, we're great friends, and we all started this company together at the same time. I trust these guys with my life. So having such a close-knit team allows for a very open and honest work environment, and that is really effective in getting things completed. There's a very high level of trust between us, not only in work, but in everyday life. And we've been at this for 1 year, like I said, and the passion and determination is incredible. And over this year, we have hurdled adversity with ease. The team has done incredible. I couldn't ask for a better team. As far as finances, personally, we each have right around $300 of personal investment into the company, which isn't bad at all. We formed the company with the aid of the Lion Launchpad grant, and that helped us obtain our LLC and all necessary legal documents through the state and also through the federal government. We also received the Sparkplug grant, which allowed us to begin a crowdsourcing campaign on Kickstarter.com. We collected $18,407 in pledges from 230 backers from all over the country and even the world. We actually had an order come in from Japan. A majority of the first year's revenue went into fulfilling the Kickstarter orders, but it also funded an exhibit at the 2014 Archery Trade Association trade show in Nashville, Tennessee, and the remaining money went towards business supplies, sampling fees, legal fees, and copyrights. And the trade show allowed for great first exposure to the industry, and we expect that the revenue to remain relatively steady through the next year or two. Ideally, it'll increase by maybe 10%, ideally more, but profit margins will be higher even with low revenue increases. As I said earlier, we're looking at 5 to 10% profit for licensing and 40 to 50% for apparel production. All depends on the product, the deal, and the quantity of the order. But by year 3, we'd like to increase revenue to $75,000 or even more. And I think this is totally feasible. It gives us 2 years to create and execute a great marketing strategy, as well as create a well-known and respected brand. One of the first things we were asked was if we had an exit strategy, and to me, that was absolutely bizarre. As a young company, the only thought I could think of was that we need an entrance strategy. We need to get into the market. And I'm a huge fan of Mark Cuban's Business Savvy, and he has 12 rules for startups. Rule number one is don't start it unless it's an obsession. And rule number two is if you have an exit strategy, it's not an obsession. So we are not planning on exiting the market. We are planning on entering in the market, not only surviving in the market, but thriving in the market. And we are totally obsessed with what we're doing, and we're totally obsessed with the industry. And the ATA trade show just solidified that for all of us. So we're going to continue to build our brand on innovative patterns, quality products, and personable, friendly service. If we do this and manage our finances, there's absolutely no reason we can't survive, let alone thrive.